This is a story about Rex the pig. Rex the pig and the big laugh, to be precise. Rex lives in fluffy gardens, a wonderful place to live. Our story begins by a bush covered in pretty red berries. This is a story about the small green thing. The small green thing and the lovely hats, to be precise. The small green thing lives in fluffy gardens, a wonderful place to live. Our story begins with the arrival of the newspaper. This is a story about Sparkles the monkey. Sparkles the monkey and the big heavy book, to be precise. Sparkles lives in fluffy gardens, a wonderful place to live. Our story begins with a delivery. The penguin postman had a package for Sparkles the monkey. This is a story about Mavis the pony. Mavis the pony and the circus, to be precise. Mavis lives in fluffy gardens, a wonderful place to live. Our story begins with much excitement. The news was spreading quickly. Poppy the tiger told Tootie. This is a story about Stinky the skunk. Stinky the skunk and the rocket ship, to be precise. Stinky lives in fluffy gardens, a wonderful place to live. Our story begins with a rocket ship. This is a story about Poppy the tiger. Poppy the tiger and the jigsaw puzzle, to be precise. Poppy lives in fluffy gardens, a wonderful place to live. Our story begins with one piece of the puzzle, a jigsaw puzzle. This is a story about Tootie the elephant. Tootie the elephant and the exercise park, to be precise. Tootie lives in fluffy gardens, a wonderful place to live. Our story begins with a run. Well, almost. This is a story about Mindy the flamingo. Mindy the flamingo and the rainy day, to be precise. Mindy lives in fluffy gardens, a wonderful place to live. Our story begins one grey day in fluffy gardens. This is a story about Rex the pig. Rex the pig and the Delectable Dinner, to be precise. Rex lives in fluffy gardens, a wonderful place to live. Our story begins in Rex the pig's kitchen. Rex was preparing. This is a story about Pertree the bear. Pertree the bear and the storybook, to be precise. Pertree lives in fluffy gardens, a wonderful place to live. Our story begins like so many others, with Once Upon a Time. This is a story about Lenny the Octopus. Lenny the Octopus and the Busy Day, to be precise. Lenny lives in fluffy gardens. A wonderful place to live. Our story begins one very busy morning. Chuckles the chicken could be heard telling everyone it was time to get up. Cock-a-doodle-doo. This is a story about Colleen the cow. Colleen the cow and the shooting star, to be precise. Colleen lives in fluffy gardens. A wonderful place to live. Our story begins in a little field outside Colleen the cow's house. The sun had gone down. The night was dark. Colleen the cow. This is a story about Mavis the pony. Mavis the pony and the new arrival, to be precise. Mavis lives in fluffy gardens. A wonderful place to live. Our story begins with the arrival of the penguin builders. This is a story about Fudge and Lily the kittens. Fudge and Lily the kittens and the paddling pool, to be precise. Fudge and Lily live in fluffy gardens. A wonderful place to live. Our story begins with a mischievous smile. This is a story about Paolo the cat. Paolo the cat and the impossible problem, to be precise. Paolo lives in fluffy gardens. A wonderful place to live. Our story begins with a problem. Paolo the cat was baffled. This is a story about Scoopy the pink rabbit. Scoopy the pink rabbit and the big band, to be precise. Scoopy lives in fluffy gardens. A wonderful place to live. Our story begins with a tune. Scoopy the pink rabbit was walking through fluffy gardens early one morning, whistling to herself. This is a story about Poppy the tiger. Poppy the tiger and the new camera, to be precise. Poppy lives in fluffy gardens. A wonderful place to live. Our story begins on Stripe Street early one morning. Poppy the tiger was brushing. This is a story about Lola the mosquito. Lola the mosquito and the snowy day, to be precise. Lola lives in fluffy gardens. A wonderful place to live. Our story begins one very cold evening. On her way home, Lola the mosquito passed hesitantly. This is a story about George the mean yellow dog. George the mean yellow dog and the grumpy morning, to be precise. George lives in fluffy gardens. A wonderful place to live. Our story begins one morning in Gruff Lane. This is a story about the penguins. The penguins and the big penguin party, to be precise. The penguins live all over fluffy gardens. A wonderful place to live. Our story begins with a holiday. Now, holidays aren't unusual in